Sean, I want to pick up on something you just touched on there, the imagery. Well, the fawning of those 7 European leaders to Donald Trump, which was just amazing. And there's an equally amazing photograph from that meeting with these 7 European leaders on Monday that just shows not just the fawning, but Europe's weakness. The 7 of them sitting in front of Trump's desk, almost like errant school children or minions getting their orders. It shows that, well, I just wonder how sick Americans are really of having to bail out weak Europeans who can't even defend themselves and have to go crawling to the White House saying, please, 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 America, help us defend Ukraine.
So there's 2 things that I thought were interesting. One, how that picture differed from the first term. These guys all lectured him, told him how he was wrong, how he didn't understand the impact of his policies. So the contrast between term 1 and term 2 is unbelievable. And then last night I listened to NATO Secretary Mark Rutte go on television here in the United States and say Trump was right. The criticism that he was levying on NATO was correct. And his criticism of the fact that they wanted the protection of the United States, the Article 5 protections, but didn't want to match their commitment, which is part of the deal here, that they would have at that point 2% of their GDP towards their own national defenses. It was, to me, I loved it because when I listened to the Secretary General make those comments last night, I thought to myself, for all of you elitists and foreign policy experts that have been decrying President Trump's stance on Europe and NATO, you finally got it. Here is the NATO Secretary General himself saying Trump was right in his criticism.
He was absolutely right. And may I just add, Sean, that his administration is equally right in its criticism of Australia. Our failure to lift our defence to anything, even remotely like an adequate amount to pretend to defend ourselves. We've been warned, and I think America might. But
Andrew, here's the thing: why is it? You look at the AUKUS deal with Australia. You look at what we do with NATO. Why is it always these folks want to lecture the United States about what they should do, what it should do here in the United States, not what you got? And again, I'm not trying to be critical of Australia or the EU or any of its member states, but the bottom line is maybe you guys step up to the plate first, instead of criticizing the U.S. first. In Australia, you're cozying up to China, and then you're criticizing the United States. It's like, hey, before you criticize the United States, when we're willing to give you submarines under AUKUS, stop cozying up to China.
Well, that is exactly the message coming from America. I endorse it 100%. And I think, the game's got to be over of the West, the rest of the West treating America's army like a mercenary army that's actually at their disposal. It's not. You've got to have a partnership, a genuine one,